JPMorgan out with a new report saying the AI trade is going to shift a bit into its next phase for 2025. Joining us here on set with more, we've got our very own Josh Schafer. And Josh, as you mentioned, this is a bit of a consensus call for 2025. The AI trade, it's not going away anytime soon, but it is going to shift slightly. What stands out to you in this note?
Yeah. So in this note, JPMorgan highlighting top picks is Amazon, Meta, Alphabet. And I think what stands out with that, Maddie, is there's sort of this shift to, Goldman Sachs has called this the shift from AI infrastructure stocks to AI-enabled revenue stocks, right? So who was building the infrastructure? We know the names, right? That's an NVIDIA of the world. Those are the companies that are making chips. Of course, some of these hyperscalers we're talking about, Brad, also getting into the chip game a little bit, right? Yeah. But it's about who is actually talking about AI as a source of revenue. And Meta sticks out as this because I think Meta is an easy one for us to understand as consumers, right? How does Meta use AI? I use Instagram. You go on Instagram, you use Instagram Reels, and they're feeding you.
Are you using AI to make your Reels these days?
No, but they're feeding you AI ads, right? They're giving you targeted ads and new targeted content based on how you're using Reels, right? That's literal AI monetization that Meta has said is giving them more ad revenue per user. And so that's a simple way to think about how AI in the next phase, okay, I bought the chip. I'm starting to incorporate the chip in my company. How does it help me make more money? That's how Meta's using it, and what JPM is sort of pointing out here is what companies are going to be able to profit off of that use case of AI, and you think about some of these cloud services companies.
I'm just waiting for the day where you come in on a Monday and you tell me that you used AI from Instagram in order to make a reel about you making your Sunday chili. I can't wait for that, Josh. But all things considered, one of the things that Baird and Ross from Baird had talked to us about earlier this morning was really just focusing in on there has been no killer app just yet.
Sure.
And the larger question of, do you need an install base to get that killer app across, or do you just need to create something and it's perhaps something that's not even created yet? Because as of right now, the only thing that's at the household level lexicon is really ChatGPT at this juncture until something else comes along, and whether it's in a already built out experience or if it's something that's yet to be built, that's what really the monetization could be driven for.
Well, and you think about the other names that JPMorgan's highlighting here, right? So they're highlighting Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, and Spotify.
Yes.
You talk about a killer app. The concept of a killer app coming from an app that we all already use kind of makes sense to me, right? Yeah. So for Spotify to be able to utilize AI more in their experience and bring that more to what you're already listening to and using on that app sort of makes sense, rather than is it an app that we're not using that much from a company that doesn't quite consume our phones at the level that these companies do. Yeah. Sure, I could see it, but it's a little bit harder to get there in my head at this point because it literally doesn't exist. So I think that part of sort of this trade makes sense to me is, okay, all of these companies already have a massive install base. Yes. If you can get a little bit more productive by using AI, and again, I think it's that pointed advertising, pointed content that you can get to people, because if you're giving Brad Smith, who loves to golf, a lot of golf ads, you're more likely to click through those and maybe buy something, right? So I'm more likely to advertise with you, and you eventually just make a little bit more money off that process.
And the reality is, if we're going down the splash mountain of even more deregulation, that there could perhaps be one of those major players that identifies what we had seen in Facebook acquiring Instagram, something analogous to that type of deal could come in this AI landscape as well, that could then just supercharge one of these larger.
We'll have to ask ChatGPT who's going to do that, Brad.
Yes, we will. Exactly. Josh, thanks so much. Appreciate it.